It's time for the absolutely... I'm on my way! Completely... I'm almost there! Random... Why are there so many stairs? Podcast. Oh, jeez! With Andrew Rhodes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the absolutely completely random podcast for Saturday, June 6th, 2020. I actually had to look down on my little calendar system to tell me what the date was. Holy crap. I'm your host, Andrew Rhodes, here on the Web Designer 18 YouTube channel, and as always, I'd like to thank you all for stopping by, saying hi, and listening to my ramblings for like the next hour or so. So this week, I plan to talk about, a few things I found this week. The Game Gear Micro is coming out via Sega, and oh boy, this is not good. Turns out old Pokemon games spawn monsters differently. That's actually kind of interesting. There's a lot wrong with the older Pokemon games you would not be aware of. Speaking of Pokemon, the trading card game is going to be becoming a board game. Oh goody. Studio Bones is changing up their submission policy following the Kyoto Animation attack, and possibly a topic that's been sitting in the wings for like the last 2 weeks. Mostly because I only found 4 things to talk about this week, so let's see how that works out. But anyway, you know the song and dance by now, I'm sure. ARHOADS-2012 over on eBay. I have a wide variety of stuff for sale, constantly putting more stuff up. I'm trying to anyway. And so many other things. Come on by, say hi. One person's trash is another person's treasure. You might find something that you like. Remember, the holiday seasons are always coming up. And you can easily, buy something that you might think somebody will like. Even if you don't like them, it makes a good way to get rid of something. Like, oh, hey, I don't really like you that much, but here, I thought of you anyway. It does make somebody feel nice. Or so I've been told anyway. But as I digress, that's ARHOADS-2012 on eBay. Don't forget to subscribe here to the official Web Designer 18 YouTube channel by hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to ring the bell notification icon. And check out the end of the video where I'll have the end cards coming up, where you'll pretty much be guaranteed a video that's suited to you, the viewer. And you can check out the playlist of the other podcast episodes. That's right. And there's also the giant subscribe button on there, just in case you managed to make it that far into the video and you liked it. Check me out over on Twitter at OtakuRhodes, and check out the official Web Designer 18 Facebook page. I think that's everything I have to mention every freaking week. It's eBay, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Okay, I'm pretty good. All right, I'm good. I'm good. Yay. I'm good. Alright, so this is usually the part where I say how my week went, and honestly, this was one of those weeks that I really could have took it or left it, to be honest with you. I ended up getting a bit busy on Tuesday, catching up on stuff that I really kind of spaced out a bit. Dealing with a lot of people making noise in my neighborhood again, so that's always fun. Still haven't gone back to work yet, but it's possible, according to a mass text that went out from my store manager, possibly within the next week or two, so yay! I'll be getting up at 2 in the morning again to be at work by 4. Yay! Although I did venture into Walmart, though, today, for the first time, I want to say in months, definitely want to say in months, I ventured to Walmart, and I'm still waiting for the cavity searches. I mean, they got turnstiles at the Walmart that I usually go to. There's turnstiles to go into the store, and it's like, oh yeah, cool, and I'm still waiting for the cavity search, especially with the security guard standing out front. I'm definitely waiting for this for the cavity searches. And to be fair, they're always out there, especially with the COVID thing, because they were only allowing X amount of people in. But where I live at, they moved us to the yellow phase. Whatever the hell that means. It basically is whatever the hell that means. They moved us to the yellow phase. It means, oh, now you can move about the cabin a little more, kids, but we're still not going to let you have complete and total control. Yeah, so that's always fun. But, yeah, it is what it is so far. Otherwise, though, this week's been kind of interesting. Been catching up, watching some Scorpion. We're almost done with it, though, because I only have 2 seasons right now. I did order the complete series, but it's currently held up in transit, coming to me from Blow It Out of Here's eBay page, so that's really cool. I have bought from them before, so I had no issue with that. But it'll be a little bit. So I'll end up going back and watching a couple movies via Tubi and all that because they got Megamind again, and I'm looking forward to showing that to my mom. It's like she could really love this movie. It's not a bad movie. Otherwise, though, this week I've been dealing with YouTube wanting to recommend stuff for me that I'm really not a fan of it recommending for me, and a bunch of other things. So yeah. It's just been one of those weeks, I guess you could say. On top of that, it has been hot as hell. I mean, Jesus. It's like Tuesday, we had storms. Like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, storms. No, I think we had like something rolled through like Tuesday night and Wednesday. I'm almost sure of it. I don't think, maybe not, but I'm almost sure I heard something. Wednesday, we had storms. Oh man, were they wicked. Power was going on and off. Lights were flickering half the day. It was horrible. Let's go into Thursday. Thursday was even more fun with another storm that came through that decided to fluctuate the power system. Friday, of course we get a storm on Friday, and it's hot as balls every day. Today it was like 83, so if you hear my fan off in the background or you hear it hitting my baggies around here, I have it pointing to my ceiling to try to circulate the air because it is hot up here. It's 83 degrees right now. Holy, it is hot. I'm not lying. But yeah, so my week's been interesting. Still working on my drawing a little bit. I am going to start trying to figure out if I want to scan the rest of the pictures in or take actual photos of them, because I'm going to have to do that for the ones in my book. I'm going to have to actually take pictures because I can't scan those in because it won't look right. So that's always fun. But I almost got that whole book filled, too. That's really scary to me. I almost have that whole book filled. But yeah, this week's been just freaking fun as hell. I'm telling you. And the fact that I might have maybe 1-2 more weeks left of this enjoyable fun. I mean, I don't mind not having to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind not having to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's quite enjoyable not having to get up at 2 a.m., to be at work by 4, but I'm not looking forward to that coming back. Otherwise, though, it's been an interesting week. Especially yesterday, I went to the store. I ended up, this is fun. So every time we go to the store, because they know my mom now, because I have complained so many times that I just have the email go to her instead of coming to me, because she's the one that goes down there more times than I do, because I usually work on a Friday morning, and she goes down to the store. So, we went to the store, and they had Italian bread on sale. My mom and I like making homemade pizza. Take the bread, slice it in half, put some sauce, cheese on it. It tastes really good, I'm not going to lie. It does taste good. Doesn't take long to make either, like 10 minutes in the oven at 350. It's really good. So, they had mini Italian bread on sale as a special this week for $1, but as we're walking at the one part of the store, they had what was clearly marked, buy one, get one. And I'm like, oh, cool, buy one, get one. It's the larger loaves, the really long ones. I'm like, hey, this is really cool. And I convinced her, hey, let's get 2 of them, because you figure it's buy one, get one. That basically means that you're buying one and you're getting 2 of them for the price of 1, basically. We go up to the register, and yeah, the bill wasn't coming out quite right. Then we found out that the one thing didn't ring up right, which my mom corrected the cashier on, and she fixed it. But then we're going out, and she's like, the bread didn't come up right. So she went back in to complain while I took the groceries out to the car, since they were already paid for, and apparently store policy is that if there's an error with your item and it didn't ring up right, you get whatever the cost was of the item back. So basically the store's like, oops, okay, look, it didn't ring up right. That's on us, not on you. Here's what you owe. Here's what we owe you, and it's basically whatever the price was going to be. So that's actually a unique policy, because that'll make them not screw up again in the future. But my mom wasn't the only one apparently complaining about it. Somebody else was, and apparently their buy one, get one thing for the bread was the half off price is already taken off. So you're basically buying 2 of them for the price of one. Apparently, one loaf is $2.48, since each one of those things of bread was $1.24, because that's what it was labeled as. The bread was labeled $1.24. It wasn't labeled $2.48. And I basically did my Cyrano to poison pen when we got home, sent a complaint, and my mom got the reply back, basically detailing the same thing she was told, but that's not buy one, get one. That's 50% off then. If it's buy one, get one, that means I'm buying two for the price of one. If I'm getting one at half off the normal price, that's 50% off. That's not buy one, get one. And I'm just like, that's really idiotic thinking there. Thinking that that's really going to be, the greatest idea there. But yeah, so that was yesterday. that was the fun part of yesterday. It's just their explanation for that. That's 50% off. That's not buy one, get one. Buy one, get one is I'm buying two for the price of one. And that's basically what we did. But if you think about it in the long run, when I'm looking at the label, I'm thinking, oh, cool, we're getting two of them for $1.24, not two of them for $2.48, and have each one of them literally be $1.24. Because that's what they rang up as. They just rang up at the price that was on the label, and it's like, no, wait a minute, it's supposed to be buy one, get one. That's not right. That's 50% off then. And they have the wrong label. But at least they're going to be nice, so they're going to check their sign. So that worked out well for that. But anyway, I digress. That was my week. Did some discussion videos. You can watch those up. I talked about Mr. Freeze and Iron Man. I think I did a rant video. Yeah, I did. I did a rant video on Monday. I'm almost sure of it. But either way, check those out, and let's get into the podcast, shall we? Alright, so if you've heard of this piece of gaming technology, this console, either A, you really dive into the old school classic retro gaming consoles, or you're lying through your teeth. I don't know which. Because if you're if you're my age, you might know of it. If you're a little older, you'll definitely know of it. But if you're like in your teens, unless you really watch the Angry Video Game Nerd, or you watch a lot of those old school gaming channels on YouTube, you ain't gonna know this one. I seriously doubt it, but then again, you might. But if not, welcome to the, what I like to call, learning portion of this week's episode, where you're gonna learn something new. Oh, it's gonna be fun. So, Sega is releasing a Game Gear Micro. The Game Gear was it was a horrible piece of crap. This thing was notorious for being garbage. The Game Boy Advance just completely beat the living shit out of this game system when the GBA came out. It just beat the living crap out of it. Hell, I think the Game Boy basically started pummeling it, but by the time the Game Boy Advance was out, everybody's like, you know what, this is basically what Sega wanted to do, but fucked up doing. Yeah, it was horrible. So, to mark the company's 60th anniversary, Sega has released... I love the Sega. Every time I think of Sega, I just think, what Sonic game are they fucking up this time? But it's Sega. Has decided to take one of its most notorious systems and re-release it in micro form. It's not the Dreamcast. It's not the Saturn. God, I wish it was the Genesis. Yes, let's get a Micro Genesis here. Here we go. The Sega Genesis Micro. That'd be great. At least, the Sega Genesis was good. You could do like the Sega 32X, I guess. Hell, I mean, if Atari suddenly comes out of the woodwork, or whoever owns the Atari brand comes out of the woodwork and goes, hey, we're going to up and re-release the Jaguar as a micro system. I can see gamers around the world going, by God, why? I mean, the Jaguar sucked too, but the freaking Game Gear was horrible. So it's launching on October 6th over in Japan for a whopping 4,980 yen, roughly translating to about $45 American. And there's going to be 4 colors of this notorious pain in the shithole. You got black, blue, yellow, and red. You know, for how you're going to feel after getting this. The yellow should represent how excited you're going to be getting this bright and vibrant new toy that you just spent almost $50 on, probably with shipping, like $50. The blue is going to be your emotional state, pretty much right after you realize how horribly shitty this is. But wait, it gets better. The black will pretty much signify exactly how pissed off you are at how crappy this is, and the fact that you wasted $45 will bring upon the red color of your face as you throw the stupid thing into the trash can and say that was a waste of $45. But it gets better, okay? It gets better. This is so much better. You're gonna love this. So they're really taking micro in this thing for a roll here. The screen size, all right? The handheld itself is 80 millimeters wide. Let me get a translation here, because I'm not good on the metric system. All right, so let me see, millimeters to inches. Thank you, Google. All right, so we're looking at 88 millimeters. So this thing is literally 3.46 inches wide. The screen size on this son of a bitch. The screen size on this $45 middle finger. I'm sorry, I'm loving every second of this, by the way. This is why I started this one off first. The screen size is a tiny 1.15 inches across. Yes. I said 1.15 inches. That's all the bigger this screen is. So literally 1.25 inches is all the bigger this screen is. That is it. That is pathetic. I mean, that is pa-freaking-thetic. Though, this is the interesting part. You'll probably be better off, because there is a really interesting, I want to say, sort of peripheral you can get with this. If you pre-order all 4 of the handhelds at once, as the late Billy Mays would say, you'll get the really cool item of the big window magnifying accessory, which will probably make that 1.15 inch screen look more like a 2.5 inch screen. I'm sorry, this is pathetic. I swear to God, this is pathetic as all hell. Yeah, this is the best part, though. Each one of these game consoles, each one of these colors, comes with 4 different games. So each one comes with a different game, basically. Oh, no, alright, so it's 4 games in each one. So and it's different ones in each. So the black one comes with Sonic, Outrun, Royal Stone, and Puyo Puyo. It's Puyo Puyo Sue. The blue one comes with Sonic and Tails, Gunstar Heroes, Sylvan Tale, and Baku Baku Animal. The red one comes with Game Gear Shinobi, Columns, and the two Megami Tensei Guiding games. And the yellow one has Shining Force 2, Shining Force Final Conflict, and Nazo Puyo Aru no Ru. You'd be better off getting the yellow one, because Shining Force and Shining Force 2, and even Shining Force The Final Conflict, would probably be better if you're into that franchise, and that comes on a yellow console. Why couldn't they have done, here's the go, the blue ones are going to have all the Sonic games on it that we can shove onto these bad boys. Going to have Sonic and Tails, let's throw another Sonic one on here if we have one. The black one could have came with Game Gear Shinobi, the Megami Tensei games. Hell, even throw Gunstar Heroes on that one. They could have rearranged this a little better. But you get 4 different games on each one of these. So if you buy if you buy all 4 of them, first off, you're out at least, I think there's a website. Tell me there's a website for this that I can pre-order this horrible thing, because this is like a fucking joke, right? Tell me there is a freaking website where I can go look at this, because this is a joke. This has got to be a freaking joke, right? And there's no website. There's no website. Oh my God, there's none. All right, so basically, oh no, it's an Amazon site. Okay, according to the YouTube thumbnail, it's an Amazon site. That's even worse. So let me get this straight. So to probably pre-order all 4 of these at $45 a pop, let's just go through the motion here. That's $180 for 4 different games. On top of that $180, I will get a whopping 16 games spread out against the 4 game consoles. Oh, sorry, the 4 colors of the game console. I will get at no extra charge to me, I'm assuming, free peripheral of the magnifier to make the 1.15 inch screen a little more legible, whereas I could just buy a fucking magnifying glass and, I don't know, slay it across, put my damn hands underneath it, and play the damn game. Yeah, or better yet, I could just find a fucking emulator and just play these games without spending the fucking money. This is a joke, right? Tell me and this is from Sega. This has got to be the worst idea. First off, the Game Gear was a horrible console. Okay, admittedly, when it first came out, people were thinking this was going to be pretty cool because it was Sega. People still had hope for Sega. Sega flushed any and all hope they had of being a massive gaming company right down the shitter. When the Dreamcast died and Nintendo came out with the NES, they were done. They knew they were done. They freaking were finished. They were dead in the water. With Sony coming down the pipeline with the PlayStation, your asses were done. The Dreamcast was your final saving grace. You had nothing. And let's just go with the handheld system. This is the handheld system from hell. Okay? I mean, knockoffs aside, because you've had some horrible knockoffs of old school consoles. There are even some that literally melted in your pockets from reports that I had seen over the years. So let's go with one of the most notoriously piss-poor handheld consoles. We're going to have one of those. Then we're going to make it so that there's going to be 4 different games spread out against 4 different colors that you have to spend $45 a pop on, getting magnifying glass. You can see the tiny-ass screen, all so that we can celebrate the 60th anniversary of our beloved company. Okay? Whereas, for your 60th anniversary, you couldn't have just come out with, I don't know, a collection of every Sonic game in HD, busted out a brand new game or something, celebration of everything that was great, a massive Sega collection, all in one massive dump. Better yet, just came out with, like I mentioned earlier, maybe a smaller version of one of your other game consoles. And had the ability, like, here, let me play this thing for you in, like, ultra high def 4K HD. You're gonna love it. No, we're gonna come out with the worst handheld console in the history of the world. And people will stupidly buy this. Reviewers will probably buy this thing going, hey, this is great. I'm gonna make a crap ton of money. I'll buy a bunch of these and I'll sell them on eBay. And they're gonna get burned because nobody's gonna buy this crap. I mean, first off, it's basically it's just a little over 3.5 inches at best. Even a little more. Even worse, the fact that the screen itself is microscopic. I mean, I remember reading something about this. One person goes, what is this? Game Gear for ants? And I kind of have to agree. I mean, this is almost like something you would stick in an anthill and hope that the ants would just have fun playing with it for like the next 20 minutes. Sorry about that. I had to turn my switch on. My battery was getting a little low. At least it looked like it was. But I just find this astronomically stupid. It's like, yeah, no, here. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make the game system one of the worst handhelds we ever made. We're going to do it. That would almost be as bad as Nintendo. Here, Nintendo's going to come out with a brand new anniversary edition of the Virtual Boy. We all remember how piss poor that piece of shit was. That thing was garbage and a half. Bright red coloring scheme, that basically gave you eye strain just looking at it for like 5 minutes. A piss poor library because Nintendo wouldn't allow third-party companies to come in, use their software, and get the coding rights to it. Oh God, no, it's our property, you can't have it. Horrible peripherals, a horrible system that didn't work right, good intentions, but piss poor design. And if Nintendo would pull out something like that, you'd have people screaming from the rafters, this is a stupid idea. Welcome to Sega's piss poor attempt to remind everybody that they were once a gaming company. Besides the fact that retro gamers have been dumping emulations left and right of old Sega games, Sonic games and stuff like that are still in the market. Sega is still technically a company, it's still loved. This is just a piss shit poor attempt, at least in my opinion, of them basically, here's what we had back in the day that everybody made fun of, let's see you make fun of it now. Oh, we'll still make fun of it because it sucked. And I never owned one. My very first ever game console, a handheld anyway, was the Game Boy Advance. My first ever home console was the Nintendo GameCube. That's it. I mean, I had a computer, but, I mean, console was a GameCube. Handheld console, Game Boy Advance. That's how it is. And the kicker is that nobody ever said that those were super horrible. When they came out, they had a uniqueness to them. The Game Gear was a piece of crap. And to celebrate your 60th anniversary, as I remember reading a book a couple years ago, they made it into a really crappy movie. I think it was Divergent, I think it was called, or something. I don't know. I kind of like, the book was better than the movie, basically. But the one person in the book, they had to do this company thing. The guy had to sneak into this company to basically do some corporate espionage. And he was posing as a supposed, oh, here, I can help your company out. And during the one meeting, when they found out that the precious chip or something they were going to use was damaged and they had to order repairs and it wasn't going to be done right, then all of a sudden it's like, okay. And all of a sudden the main character steps out of the room for a minute, talks to the one co-worker that he had met earlier, comes back in and goes, well, we have a warehouse of this from this failed product line. And the one guy inside the meeting room goes, what are we revisiting Fucked Up Alley here? Yeah, that's basically what this is for Sega. Hey, it's 60th anniversary. Let's revisit one of our most shittiest game consoles we ever made. And that's what we're going to shove out. I love this. So if you're interested to piss away $180 plus shipping, feel free to buy it. I don't recommend it. I think it's a piece of garbage. But somebody out there might want to be. How are you even going to see a 1.15 inch screen? I mean, I'd be squinting my eyes going, I think I just took out Dr. Robotnik. Oh, wait, no, I think I just died. I think Sonic fell in the water. I don't know, I can't see very well. That's kind of bad. So, that's kind of bad. Oh, you can't even see the console to play it. That's just horrible. Alright, so here's something interesting to throw on to the list of unique glitches, exploits, and bugs from the old school Pokemon games. So, apparently, a report that was filed and, I guess, found by, well, a bunch of people, I guess, basically say that the encounter rates in the old Pokemon games are different on different days. So that's kind of interesting. So source codes for a bunch of Pokemon games have been leaking online lately. A whole bunch of them. And they're making weird little discoveries. At least people are. Like Gen 4 Pokemon games would seemingly adjust their encounter rates on certain days, like birthdays or the anniversaries of tragic events. Apparently, though, this is interesting. So, as Polygon reports, folks like @ShinyHunter_map and @MrCheese claim to have discovered changes in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl's percentages on longtime Pokemon developer. See, the writer and composer Junichi Masuda's birthday, for example, eggs reportedly hatched 10% faster than normal. It's kind of interesting. And then there is a tweet up that explains it, saying that there's been a new surprising discovery in the Gen 4 source. On certain special days of the year, such as Masuda's birthday, eggs will hatch 10% faster than normal. Doesn't look like this has ever been noticed before. I wonder if later gens have this. And probably do, I wouldn't doubt it. So, while in international holidays... certain international holidays are important as well, encounter rates seemingly go up. So, this is cool. So, again, there's another picture explaining this. And it's basically, all the dates increase the encounter rate by 5%. These dates are as follows. Ready? Okay, we have January 11th, opening, and I'm guessing this is like what the thing is. I'll just say what it is and just go with it. So January 11th, they're opening the mirror. February 3rd of Sensubun. February 11th, National Founders Day. 12th on Lincoln's birthday. March 3rd, Hinamatsuri. March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. March 25th, Vern Santo. April 1st, School Entrance Ceremony. April 25th, Italian Liberation Day. April 29th, Greenery Day. May 3rd, Constitution Memorial Day. May 5th, Children's Day. May 8th, End of World War II in France. May 29th, White Monday, W-H-I-T Monday. June 2nd, Festa della Repubblica. June 21st, it says Dummy. July 4th, Independence Day. July 14th, Fête Nationale. Apparently another dummy day on July 24th. August 15th, or Onbone Assumption. August 28th, Bank Holiday. September 25th, Mid-Autumn Festival. A question mark seems to be next to September 20th. October 3rd, Tag der Deutschen Insight, and I don't speak German, so I do apologize if I mispronounced that. October 12th, Festi Nacional de España. October 30th is question mark, and November 1st, All Saints Day. And those are the ones that are labeled, at least on this tweet that's in with the article. So that's kind of interesting. And if this is just for Gen 4, like for Diamond and Pearl, so that would be Gen 4. Imagine, though, because almost every single generation of Pokemon, there has been some sort of a glitch or a bug that has somehow screwed the pooch in the game. I watched Madrybread do his weekly Pokemon challenge. Can I beat insert Pokemon game here using insert Pokemon here? So this is an interesting thing to have added even just to Gen 4 games, which is really cool. So apparently so along with that, though, there's a flip side. On other days, there is a chance that the rates will decrease the encounter rate by 10%. So apparently on events like 9/11 or the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, the encounter rates are going to go down by 10%. So January 1st, the encounter rate will be down by 10%. March 21st, the spring equinox. Again, encounter rate has been decreased 10%. August 6th, for the bombing of Hiroshima. August 9th, the bombing of Nagasaki. September 11th. And September 23rd for the autumn equinox. That's when the encounter rate apparently drops an extra 10%. And that's amazingly interesting. But like I was saying, you also have the whole aspect. So this is Gen 4. You have all the crap from Gen 1. I mean, Gen 1 was basically nothing but a garbled mess of a game that somehow has more stuff being found in that years later than most of the newer games. I mean, especially now, like I was mentioning before I got a little sidetracked. I just found out tonight, courtesy of Madrybread's latest video, his Pidgey run, that if you use a buff on your Pokemon, like if you use Double Team or something, and you end up getting hit with a stat altering move, and you have all 8 of the badges, it basically resets and adds on the all the stat boost you get from the 8 badges all over again. So you technically get stronger as each match goes on. So that's a glitch. That's a bug. There's the infamous missing no glitch. There's the glitch that'll apparently allow you to instantly warp to the finale without doing much of anything. And that's the main issue with this game, is that there were so many issues with that first one. There was glitches, bugs, problems galore. Come Gen 2, Gen 2 had sort of the same issue, but not as bad. With Gen 3, that's when you knew there was some weird shit going on. I remember at least a couple glitches that I had saw in Gen 3 when I played Sapphire. One of them was going down into where the fire gym was. Coming down that hillside, you could actually get stuck at the one spot. At least, I don't know if it was just like maybe a glitch on mine, like my personal like my cartridge or something, but it was weird. But then there's also the fact that, oh yeah, look, you beat the game in one of the other ones. You could literally start the game all over again. Like, you have a fresh start in Sapphire and Ruby. You could instantly transfer over a Pokemon from the National Dex, and it's a brand new game in Ruby and Sapphire. Just flip the game right over. No problem. And I'm just like, what the hell? Yeah, but you can't do it vice versa, though. You need the National Dex. So it's like there's a glitch in that, oh, look, if I want to make the National Dex a little better here in my Ruby and Sapphire game, and I want to start Ruby and Sapphire, and I want to play with Charmander, I can get Charmander from in here. Boom, problem solved. We're done. Or I breed from Pokemon, what was it? Coliseum. Yeah, Pokemon Coliseum. I breed one of the 3 Johto starters. I can start my Hoenn journey with one of them. And it's like, okay, that's cool. So you could literally get, I mean, it counts as a trade. And it's like, what the hell? And that was just Gen 3. And that was the first game in Gen 3. When Fire Red and Leaf Green came out, I think there were some glitches. I know the Missing No glitch was long gone, but I think some of the other glitches were probably still there, just not as noticeable, or nobody's really bothered to look, because not too long after Gen 3 came out, which is just mostly the rehashing of, well, you had the original Gen 3, but then you just had the rehashing of Gen 1 with a smidge of Gen 2 mixed in. There's also the whole, oh, here we go then with Gen 4, and that's what we're having now. I mean, Gen 5 even has some glitches in it that I've noticed from time to time. That there's some things you can do, some things you can't. If you're not standing right at the right spot and everything else. And when I had to do learn coding in that, and we had to learn a little bit of programming for websites when I went to tech school, I kind of got a grasp of how the Pokemon games work, the whole random number generator thing. Because I remember manipulating the random number generator when I was playing my One Golden Sun game, because I wanted to get that super rare blade that was only available at one particular spot, by having one particular enemy attack you, and having to finish off that one particular enemy using one particular attack from one particular character at that one particular spot at the one particular point in the game to get this one particular weapon. The weapon wasn't even that good, but it was a secret weapon that was a drop. It was a rare drop, extremely rare. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I went through the game to get it so I could transfer it over to Lost Age, because I wanted it for the character in Lost Age. And I'm like, cool. It was a lot of work for a really stupid, it wasn't really worth it. But yeah. So I kind of got a grasp of how the random number generator worked. And plus, with the older games, the thing that I always saw, especially with the encounter rates in that, it's a random number generator. And how I always figured it worked with the older games, and it probably still works with most of the other ones too, I would assume same general formula, just eventually things will get changed up a bit, that you'll end up having to go like this. Imagine it as a piece of grid paper. Like, you take some graphing paper, the grid lines and everything, and you have, like, let's say your character's walking and there's one square. That square will send either X or O. If it's X, go to this line. That line will say, okay, it's X, that's fine, you don't have to worry about it. The numbers didn't add up. It's like if this is X and you've taken, like, let's say 25 steps. Like, let's randomize a number. It picks one number at random. You've taken this number of steps and you've hit the square that's labeled X. It'll go to, what do you want us to do? If that's not one of the numbers that it says to have it go from loading that area, then the encounter rate's nothing. So that basically means that for this, because I'm assuming that's how the whole encounter rate even works to begin with. That's my assumption. So this basically means that they've just taken that encounter rate and changed it periodically depending on a certain day. Now, there's like a reasoning for this, at least what people think of goes into a number of possible reasons for the percentage change, like the Poketech in-game watch that you get for the DS Real World Clock and Calculator. It could also just be like most of the games on the planet. The developers are working on Pokemon games to include whatever little secrets they like to have in, just to screw with the players. Make them dig for something. That's one of the things that really intrigued people with the older Pokemon games, and one of the reasons why I said when Sword and Shield were coming out that you were going to get somebody digging through that source code, because you know they're experts in it by now. But basically, what they're saying at this, at least how I'm interpreting this, is that the random number generator that's going to figure out what's happening, it's going to read the date. So whatever date your DS is telling it, it's going to go, okay, so this is the date. So then it instantly changes the number. So then it's basically, if you've taken X amount of steps, it's this particular date, and you've hit this particular square that has, let's say it's a circle. Let's say that that one's the circle square. And you hit that square, you've taken, let's say, 75 steps, and it's this particular date. That instantly is going to up the chance that you're going to get hit. So it's going to change it up depending on however many steps you take. So if you've taken, let's say, 105 steps, and you're in the grassy area, and all of a sudden you land on this particular square, and it's, let's say, I'll use one of the decreased dates here. Let's say it's August 9th. It's going to go, okay, so then an extra 10% is going to affect whether or not it's going to say, oh yes, no, throw a Pokemon out at it. No, it's going to look, okay, nope, because it's this particular day, this particular step, on this particular square, don't do anything. It changes up the rules then. So it's basically, nope, that number of steps isn't going to happen. Then it changes it to like something else. At least that's how I interpret it. But it's just interesting though that more and more stuff's being found out the older these games get. And that's just impressive. I mean, it's going to come to the point where they're soon going to have down the entire formula. This is how the Pokemon games worked way back in the day. Back from Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, all the way up to, I'll throw Sun and Moon in there. Because everybody at this point knows how Sword and Shield work. I mean, Game Freak wouldn't shut the hell up about it when they were developing it. Here, let's take a look at our beautiful backgrounds. We spent months making these beautiful backgrounds. Yeah, they're quite lovely. How about the national decks? Oh, you'll get that in some DLC. But look at this grass. It's so vibrant and lush. Yeah, I don't care. We already know at this point how the games function, how the source code, how the coding works in it. There's no mystery anymore that they can hide from us. And I think they realized that. But with the older games, we're finding out more of the stuff because back then, they were more secretive about it. What looks like one thing would easily be mistaken to most people digging through the source code. Whereas nowadays, no, they know what they're looking for. Nowadays, they know what they're looking for. But with the coding back then by different people, they're not going to know what they're looking for. Because one person codes one way and one person codes another way. Two different people will code two different ways. It's almost like writing something. One person will write chicken scratch. One person will write like a, master penmanship. I mean, it's different people doing different things. Or I should say different people doing the same thing. But yeah, that's basically it. But either way, it's interesting finding out more stuff about the older games. And you figure, I'm assuming like 20 years from now, people will look back at the old, even Sword and Shield, and they'll go, wow, look what we found out how this game worked. And then they'll find articles about how people were pissed off that this wasn't included, and they'll go, wait a minute, what do they mean it wasn't included? It was in the game code here, right here. Wow, they never unlocked it for players, and that's just gonna add more fuel to the fire, because we'll learn more and more about how the games work and the structure and everything as it goes on, and that's what makes it more interesting. But I still find this cool. So it's just one more thing to learn. So we have Diamond and Pearl, the encounter rates change. That's cool. Cool. That's neat. Just one more thing to add on. Alright, so this I like. Now, being a fan of trading card games, I am always interested whenever they take the concept and find a way to make it better. I really wish the online, hey look, let's scan the cards in and play it that way, would have panned out a wee bit better than it did. I mean, Chaotic wasn't exactly the world's greatest when it came to that. And then you had several other systems that tried their hand at it. I remember the notorious PlayStation 3 one comes to mind, where it's like, here's a trading card game and a video game mixed into one. Yeah, that worked out real well, didn't it? Sometimes it works out well, but other times like that, it's a pain in the ass. However, with this, I'm really excited, because this is taking a trading card game and turning it into a board game, so to speak. So, Pokemon Battle Academy is set to turn the trading card game into a board game. So this is a great time for those of you that don't know how to play the Pokemon card game to actually get your hands on the card game and give it a shot. So, learning a trading card game that's been around for a couple of decades can be a daunting task. I mean, there are people that still don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And that thing has been around for, frickin' ages. And yeah, it's very simple. I mean, hell, I understand it. The rule books are there to explain it, but every time you turn around with every new season of Yu-Gi-Oh!, they change the rules. I mean, look at, let's see, you had the Fusion Monsters up until 5Ds. 5Ds introduced Synchros, which actually didn't hurt the game that much. Zexal introduced the Xyz summoning, which was really cool. You had the Pendulum summoning in Arc 5. Then the game went to hell for a season with Brains, which basically introduced Link summoning, which killed the game. And then it's been brought back with, no, we're just going to fix that up. It's back to the way it was because they realized people hated it. I would have changed it faster, but hey, what the hell do I know? But this is interesting, though. So, learning a board game, though, versus a trading card game that's been around for decades. Learning a board game is a lot easier. The box is filled with everything you need. The rules, the pieces, the mat, the cardboard. Everything you need is inside that box. Unless you buy it used on Amazon, eBay, or a yard sale, then you're rolling the dice on whether everything's going to be there. 90% of the time it is, but you're running that 10% risk that it's not. So be wary. So launching worldwide towards the end of July, Pokemon Battle Academy is going to present the long-running trading card game in the simplest possible light. I love this. So you get 3 pre-made 60-card decks featuring Mewtwo, Pikachu, and Charizard. Each deck has its own guidebook. Battle takes place on a special game board designed to keep important card game information at a player's fingertips. If you cannot figure out how to play this game from this, give up. At that point, it's either you don't understand the game, the rules are too difficult for you to grasp, or you're just not trying at that point. It's just give up at that point. But they have a picture here of what the mat looks like, and it really is good. It has down what you can do during your turn. It has a section for your deck, a section for the prize cards, a section for your bench, where you put the active Pokemon to battle each other, your discard pile. This literally gives you everything. It even tells you the rules, like how you do your turn. That is it. Basically, this is... I even think they're kind of doing this with Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, in a way. I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Had the draw phase, standby phase, main phase 1, battle phase, main phase 2, end phase. So they had that. But this is interesting. And even underneath it, it tells you, like, what each section is for. So this is, first off, I have to say this. Beyond a doubt, this is cool. This has my attention completely from the fact that this is unique to the aspect of this is how you do a trading card game. It's taking the trading card game, making it into a board game, but it's still technically a trading card game. And I'm not going to lie, if they would do this with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like here, let's introduce a couple Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks. Let's go Yugi, Kaiba, Joey, and then we'll throw on the other side of it 3 random characters from some of the other games. Or better yet, just Yugi, Kaiba, Joey, and you literally have those 3 decks fixed up. I mean, there was like a collector's edition that had those 3 decks in. You had a Yugi deck, you had a Joey deck, you had a Kaiba deck. Because I actually bought it. I do remember buying that one. And that deck, that box basically gave you all the cards that came with them plus some bonus stuff. But it was mostly just cards. It was just specifically just to add to your trading card game collection. But with this, if they would do a board game style of it, I mean, sort of like what Pokemon's doing here. If any of the other card games out there would do this, it would pretty much probably help out. I mean, first off, I'd be interested in seeing what the Pikachu card looks like, the Mewtwo, and the Charizard card. Because keep in mind, with the trading card game, when it first came out, Mewtwo and Charizard were rare as hell to get your hands on. If you had a Charizard card, holy shit, you were in business. So, yeah, and I kind of like the design. I mean, it looks like I can see the cards on the side here of the box. The Pikachu card does look pretty cool. The Charizard and Mewtwo cards, too. But, yeah, or is that a Raichu? Oh, no, I think that's a Raichu on the side. Ew. Ew, that looks like Raichu on the side of the box. That doesn't look like Pikachu. That looks like, that's a Raichu. Yeah, it's a freaking Raichu on the side, because it's got the yellow cheeks and orange body versus Pikachu's red cheeks and yellow body. That's a Raichu you got on the side there. Wow, that sucks. Yeah, just taking that, you're literally telling people, oh, there's going to be 3 different decks inside this. Pre-made 60-card decks. It's going to be Pikachu, Mewtwo, and Charizard. And you're picturing Raichu as a card. The other 2 are correct, but you're picturing Raichu and not Pikachu. Brilliant idea! People can't understand which freaking Pokemon is which. That's just sad. But yeah, I will admit, though, it does look pretty cool. So it's basically just a giant game board with Pokemon cards in it. And my guess why they would be introducing this, besides the fact that to make it sell a little more, to help people understand how the game works, because this game is still going on like a lot of the other trading card games. I mean, you have Battle Spirits are still getting set releases. Yu-Gi-Oh! Still getting set releases. Pokemon still getting set releases. Every single one of the trading card games that I know of is still getting releases yet, left and right. So it makes sense to find a way to encourage more people to try to buy this thing. It's like, look, we just make, a couple pre-made decks, print out a game mat, stuff it in a box, put some nice coloring on it, and push it out there. Somebody will buy this thing. I mean, they could market this as a board game, so it might get into certain other aisles in department stores, or as a trading card game, or it could technically be thrown in both. Because I know Walmart and them, they have a separate section for trading card games and a separate section for... they have a section for trading cards and a section for board games. And with board game stuff, it's all the way back with toys. So, and most of the trading cards are up by the registers. So you're looking at the trading cards as you're checking out, sort of trying to make it an impulse buy, versus why they should be back towards the, rest of the toys, because it's not an impulse buy then. Then you actually are putting some thought into it. Up at the front, no, it's an impulse buy. And nobody's going to just do an impulse buy. They're not that stupid. And this could actually help fix that issue. Because if this is back with the board games, then you're putting some thought into it. Like, hey, I really want to get this. The price isn't bad. I can really swing this time around. I'm going to pick this up and buy this. Versus it's up front. Man, I'm checking out. Oh, man, Oh man, I kind of like this. As they're scanning your stuff across, you're hearing beep, 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 beep. You're not thinking, hey, let me grab this game and throw this on. Here's an impulse buy, because it's big, it's bulky, it's annoying, it's in the way. Even the trading card packs, you're looking at it like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. Beep, beep, beep. You're more concerned with how much your bill's already getting racked up to consider buying this. Whereas back with the toy section, you can look at this and go, okay, I'll buy this. It's a board game, yeah. And technically, that's really all a majority of these trading card games are. Just remove the die. Well, actually, some of them even have dice. That you needed to use a die or a coin to flip or something. So, almost all trading card games could technically be branded as board games in a way. But this could open up the door for a lot of it. I mean, you could have a Battle Spirits board game, Yu-Gi-Oh board game, which would be really cool because then you could sell expansion packs for it. Like, look, here's a couple extra decks to use with this thing, or you can build your own from the trading cards. And then that helps people, that'll sell more of your stuff for you. At least that's how I always think of it. But with stuff like that, I find it interesting because, hey, this could really work out well. And then you're thinking about it like, yeah, because I could see an entire Yu-Gi-Oh thing like this. Like, hey, here's a Yu-Gi-Oh board game where you get 3 pre-made decks. I mean, one could be beginner, novice, advanced. Okay? And you could have the advanced deck where you'll know exactly every single thing you want to do. You know what you're going to use it for. You know how you're going to use it. You're going to beat it down to the ground. The novice deck is for brand new beginners. I don't know what I'm doing. This deck will help me understand how to play this game. And the intermediate deck for, okay, I got the grasp of it, but I'm not a master of it yet. I think with this, it'd probably be the same way. You're probably going to have, like, Pikachu will be the novice deck, I would assume. Charizard probably being the intermediate deck, and Mewtwo being the master deck. Like, I can freaking beat this thing down to a ground staple in 5 seconds or less. Of course, though, with this, you're going to have people that are just going to buy these things, split them up, and just sell the parts off for people that will be interested in it. I mean, the mat alone would just be something that somebody will buy and just play the regular Pokemon game with. It's like, why bother getting the box when I can just get the mat? Or, I just want the decks in it, I don't want the mat. I already have, like, my own that I made from home, and stuff like that. So there is downsides to this as well as upsides, but the upsides I don't think completely over justify how cool this does seem. I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty neat. This definitely has my attention. I do think it is pretty cool, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, it's just a trading card game put into a board game box, but it's technically the same thing. Basically, it's open to your interpretation. How you think it is and what you think it is versus what they think it is. I think it's cool. I think it's a good idea and definitely a stepping stone, if anything else. Or a possible needless cash grab, whichever you prefer. Alright, so this is definitely something that I find extremely interesting. So, as you know, I have been pretty much following the Kyoto Animation arson attack since it happened last year. I had the topic last week about them arresting the person who caused it. So this is sort of an interesting topic here, if anything. So Studio Bones, another anime studio, most notably they make My Hero Academia, Space Dandy, Mob Psycho, and a few other series. So there's a few of them on here. I'm just going off the picture of the ones that I know of. They recently announced a new policy when it comes to submissions. They've updated their submission policy following the Kyoto An attack. So this is definitely something that you need to keep in mind here. So as those following the arson attack on Kyoto Animation last year know, the motive of the alleged attacker was his mistaken belief, and they have mistaken in parentheses, belief that the studio had stolen his submission for an anime series. In the wake of that incident, Studio Bones has updated its standards for fan submissions. The official site of the studio updated June 3rd thanks fans for all their support, but notes that we are absolutely unable to accept ideas, plans, stories, characters, names, marketing, PR, etc. for new projects. So basically, don't give them shit. They're not taking anything anymore. Unless you're pretty much... Basically, it seems like they're going the Nintendo route. Unless you're established, and I mean unless you're like well established, they're not even going to open... They don't want to deal with you. No amateurs. Nobody can just up and submit work to us. No. The answer is no. It's automatically out. And I think a lot of other places are probably going to be following suit. Probably some of the manga companies and the manga publishers like Shueisha, Shonen Jump, and ones like those are probably going to be changing up their guidelines as well, I would assume. Don't quote me on it or anything. So the site explains that through coincidence, or yeah, coincidence. I think it was through coincidence. Through coincidence, their future IPs may end up resembling one of those ideas, and that rejecting all submissions is a measure to prevent any misunderstandings or disputes. Basically, if we don't take the idea from you, you can't say we stole it from you. That's honestly good work. If you honestly want my opinion on it, that's actually a good idea. It just makes me remember the time I tried submitting a game idea to Nintendo and they politely told me to go to hell. That's true. I had a really cool idea for a game design. I thought, hell, I'll pitch it to Nintendo, see if, I'll raise up the flagpole at Nintendo and see who salutes it. And Nintendo so politely told me to go for myself, in a way, with, we do not accept unsolicited game ideas. Okay. Nowhere on your site does it say that, but thank you for telling me anyway. How else do you expect to get ideas or something? I was like, yeah, alright, but fine. Many studios and other creative entities already take precautions like this. Kyoto Animation was an exception. It welcomed submissions via its novel contest, but it has suspended that contest, and other studios like Bones are making sure there's absolutely no confusion about their submission standards. And like I said, the article even said it too, and I figured it out myself, that it's likely other studios are going to take a similar stance or take steps to make sure this never happens or certain things are clearer. Like I said, I could see manga publishers doing this, other anime studios doing this, like Funimation, Viz. I could see them doing this, updating their policies. Like, look, we're not accepting any ideas. You need to be like a creator. You need to have X amount of like views or something, or have some rules or guidelines set up. You just can't be some novice bringing them an idea. You need to have had this thing, or they'll reach out to you. Probably. We're not taking ideas anymore, is what they're saying. I don't blame them. What happened at Kyoto Animation was heartbreaking. It was a tragedy. And I could see, and I understand completely, them not wanting to do this anymore, not wanting to take any fan submissions. I totally understand that. You wouldn't want to all of a sudden run the risk of, hey, let's up and have a whole bunch of fans submit stuff, make something from those submissions, and then have those same fans get pissed off because you stole my work. I could see that working. I could see them, preventing this way, because it does make sense. I just find it odd that almost a year later, they decide to, hey, now we're going to change our policies. This is something that I would have said, like, maybe within a couple months. Like, November of last year, I would have made this announcement like, look, our policies have updated. We are no longer taking submissions. No more fan submissions. Nothing. You cannot submit anything to us. And yeah, I mean, I could see them do this. And like I said, I could also see manga publishers doing the same thing. Of course, with them, that'll screw over future series. But they could make a policy like, look, you have to submit it to this first. Anything that's put in this is put in for general public view. Your name is submitted along with it, so we can't say that we took this from you. And if it gets good enough votes, then we'll submit it for a regular series should it get that far. Which is sort of what they do now, but they'll probably just be doubling down on how they're going to do that. Because you figure this could have easily happened to a manga publisher too versus an anime studio. But I could see the anime studio, definitely. But I just find it interesting. No plans, no stories, no characters, no names, no marketing, no PR, nothing for new projects. Not a goddamn thing. If you had if you had an anime idea for two farts solving crime in a desert, forget it. They're not taking it. No ideas, nothing. And I don't blame them. Like I said, I don't blame them for this. For those of you that are wondering, Bones was established, though, back in 1998. They are best known for their series like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Space Dandy, and My Hero Academia. But, yeah, I'm not going to lie. This is definitely an interesting concept. The fact that they are not going to take any more submissions. No more, you can't bring us an idea. Nothing. None of that crap's happening anymore. It's not that I say that's a bad idea. No, that's a good idea. I would do the same thing. I'm just saying I'm amazed they didn't do it sooner. It's basically where I'm at. I would have figured that maybe, in all honesty, within, I would have said a couple months. I would have said like November, they would have all of a sudden said, hey, we're not taking submissions anymore. In the light of what happened, we are not taking any more submissions. We don't want any. No more submissions. No more fan submissions. Nothing. Don't submit anything to us. We're not taking anymore. Suspend the contests and everything else. It sucks for people that may have had a chance to get their own series that way. Now the work's going to be a little harder. It might cause a lot to give up their ideas. But I think in the wake of what happened, they're not going to get entirely pissed off about it. They probably will understand it. And like I said, I understand it too. Because this is honestly it was a tragedy that what happened. And Bones wants to prevent that same thing from happening to them. And I guarantee you, Funimation will probably do the same thing. Viz will probably do the same thing. I don't think we got to worry about Media Blasters much longer because I think they're about to be ready to go out of business. I read in the weekly newsletter I get from the Anime Corner Store that their adult media version, Kitty, which is the only thing that's been keeping their backsides alive lately, is marking a lot of their stuff out of print, so they may not be sticking around much longer. So there is that. But either way, it's definitely, I'm not going to lie, this is definitely what you would call a good move. I'm just surprised it didn't come sooner than this. We're talking, in about a month it'll be a year. I'm amazed it didn't come sooner. It's honestly where I'm at. It's true. I'm amazed it didn't come sooner. But it is what it is. And kudos to them for taking the initiative on it. And for saying, nope, we're doing it this way. You can't up and submit anything to us anymore. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. To prevent another tragedy like this, I'm all for an idea like that. So that we don't have another tragedy like that. I'm all for it. I really am. Alrighty, everybody. That's going to do it then this week for the Absolutely Completely Random podcast. I know it wasn't that great of a podcast episode. It was sort of digging the bottom of the barrel for topics this week, and it is what it is. But hey, we still had a blast for the last, I want to say, about an hour or so. But hey, you know what? You have to have off weeks in order for the regular weeks to be good. But anyway, don't forget to submit your questions for the June Q&A. You have until, I'm still shooting for, unless something happens to change that, because I end up going back to work sooner than I thought or something. I'm shooting for at least having all the questions in by the 23rd at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, there is that. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, thumbs down button if you didn't like the video. Don't forget to leave a comment down below on any of the topics you found interesting, or just in general. Let me know how your week went. You know, stuff like that. Just stop by, say hi, whatever floats your boat. And don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, check out my other videos. And until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes. This has been the absolutely, completely random podcast here on the Web Designer 18 YouTube channel. And until next time, bye-bye, everybody!